Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Depending on where you are in the world, how are you? It's Paddy here. Um, Another wee review for you. In fact, you're getting two for one tonight. I've done two small knives. I have fully reviewed them, so I just thought they were so similar. I'll do them both at once, and that way I'll save a wee bit of time, of your time, I should say, rather than mine. They're both Firebird knives, which is the new branding name for Ganzo. For those who don't know, Ganzo used to be just Ganzo knives. Now it's Firebird knives. And the two we're doing today is the F759m, which is the orange one on top here, which is 440C. The bottom one is the F6802 standing for aluminium, and it's a German steel, which is BRD 4116, which is this one here. The German steel is lesser steel than 440C, but to be honest, for the price of the knife, what I would get the knife for, it's perfectly adequate. I have used it, I've sharpened it, it's fantastic. You know, for the price, absolutely fine, nothing wrong with it. Something like maybe Aussie, it maybe just a bit below it, I'm not sure. But the 440C, as usual, is a great steel on the top one. Holds the edge for a fair amount of time, certainly for daily use, EDC, which is what both these are. I'm sort of trying to get back to using a smaller EDC, a 3-inch blade rather than a 3.5 to 4-inch blade, which I have been using. It's like all EDC. I mean, if it's too heavy or you're not enjoying it, you won't carry it. So I'm in one of those phases where I fancy the lighter knife for a while. It'll go back and forward throughout my time with knives. It has done so far, and I will again. So what are these? I'll compare them, give you some comparisons in size. Here is the ever so famous Oh So Sweet, which is near enough exactly the same size, and something just that little bit bigger. There's the Tenacious, Spyderco Tenacious, which is a little bit bigger than them. They're both a good size for EDC. They're both 7 inches long, which is 18 centimeters. The blade length in both of them is 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters, and the blade width is about 2.5 millimeters on both knives. So very similar size, different construction, and for me, different quality. The top Ganzo has the back lock, and the bottom one has a liner lock, which for Ganzo's normally a liner lock would be the stronger lot. On this one, I'm not so sure, but we'll come. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll weigh them both and then we'll do a comparison. I'll tell you why I'm not so keen on this liner lock. So I'll just close them up here, and I'll bring my little scale in. Sorry, I'm just on board there. Now, come on, scale. Now, I'll do the F6802 first, and it is 77 grams. The Ganzo 759 is 65 grams, and that, let's just change that and give it the real measurements. There we go, inches. So we'll go with the aluminium one first. It is 2.5, which is a great weight, and the 2.3, which is again a great weight. Great weight for EDC. You wouldn't feel them in your pockets. So I'll set this one up the top here, and we'll talk about the aluminium one first, my likes and don't likes. I'm not going to get too involved because I'm going to start this by saying these knives are dirt cheap. The quality on one of them is brilliant. The quality on the other one is adequate. This one at the moment is $8 delivered. This one is $10 delivered. You just can't beat that for a price. The construction in this one, as I said, is aluminium. It's got a deep pocket carry clip, which is new for Ganzo. It's lovely. Great clip. The blade is a lovely shape. It actually looks like a Ferrari on the move. It's a lovely shaped blade. And that was a wee bit of exaggeration. Sort of Skoda on the move. But it's a liner lock. The only thing, well, one of the things I don't like about this liner lock is that it's about 75% of the way across. It is completely solid. I have no, and I mean not even the slightest movement up or down on this knife. The blade I have sharpened, I have blunted and sharpened again, and it takes a lovely edge and just does. I use this for cutting up cardboard boxes, my stuff for the house bin. I'll cut all the paper and plastic up to put in the bin. That's what I use this for. Um, I don't know, because that lockup on it, how long it'll last me, I don't know. It's 75%. Now, it's not moved since I've had it, and I've had this one probably the longest of all my Ganzos. Um, it's not moved. It's solid as a rock. I would let my grandchildren use it. I would have no problem. So I'm not worried about it breaking or anything like that. But that lockup, I'm just not keen on it. The other thing is, it came extremely stiff from the box. So when I mean stiff, it was stiff to just open up because the blade was off center. It has taken me now. I have taken it apart. I'll try and do it with one hand. There we go. I can do it with one hand, and I can close it with one hand easier. But to be honest with you, I've been using it like a penknife and just opening it up like this and closing it with two hands, because the blade is off center. Now, it's not touching the sides, but it is off center, and that sort of puts me off. I don't like blades. It's not that I'm anal, but I just don't like my blades that far off, and that's quite far off. But for $8, I have to ask myself, is it going to worry me that much? No, it's not. It does open. It locks securely. It's just an aesthetic thing, and that's enough to put me off. So very solid construction. Love it. So for $8, to me, this is a house that I wouldn't want to take this out. This is a house I'll leave it. I'll leave this in the house and use it for odd jobs about the house, or maybe out the garden or something like that. It can cope with anything I could throw at it that way. But just as a taker-outer, this one isn't. I've seen another couple of reviews because I went and had a look at a few, and a few of them have had some similar problems with the liner lock and also with the stiffness. I took it apart twice, cleaned the wash and all, but didn't really make that much difference. Also, this hole here was very sharp, so I had to use a small file to take that down to soften it. So, $8, great knife. Keep it in the kitchen or take it in the garden, wherever. Throw it in the shed in your lockup. We'll swap it over now. This is the Ganzo 759m, and this is a completely different animal. This is a copy, as it looks, of the Ganzo Delica, or the Spyderco Delica. The only difference being with this knife, which is what we've all wanted on the Delica, there's a forward choil. It's near enough the exact copy of the bird knives, different shaped hole, not that different. But with a 440 steel, I believe that's a better steel than the bird knives have. The lockup, the back lock on this is so solid. If I can let you hear it click, it is a lovely solid. This is my third one of these. My wife stole one and my grandson has one. So this is my third one. That's how much I think of them. And I think Spyderco at the moment, over here in Northern Ireland, it's probably not the same in America, but I mean, I bought my first Delica for £62. And my wife bought it, say, about 6 months ago. They're now up to £99, which is about $115 for a Delica, which is ridiculous. So, I mean, I can get this for $10. So, you'd work out the maths, do you know what I mean? That's 11, at least 11 of these I can get delivered to my door for the price of one Delica. Why would I spend that money? I wouldn't, is a simple answer. I've got a Delica, which lets me talk about this without any real guilt, because it is just a copy. But for $10, this is an amazing. It's everything. It's just exact same copy of a Delica or the bird knives, whichever. It's a Meadowlark, I believe. Whatever one you want to take, because it has that forward choil, it is a great EDC knife, and it's about the same weight. I think it's a fraction heavier than a Delica. I use this constantly and I love it. I highly recommend it. No qualms. Nothing. Just go and buy it for $10 delivered to your door. You cannot beat it. And to be honest with you, that's it. I mean, there are two Ganzos, they're small. Everybody keeps saying Ganzo just makes bigger knives. Well, this is them coming down into the smaller market. And if this is the standard they're going to take, I mean, this, well, I'll wait and see. I'll wait and see how everybody else is with these before I would go and buy another one. But this, I've got three already of them. Smashing. We're all using them. My wife uses it for her sewing, for cutting material. Absolutely marvellous. So, that's my review. I highly recommend this knife. I recommend this, but this I would just say go out and buy. You can't go wrong for $10. You can't go wrong. You've got a delicate, except for the steel needs sharpened a wee bit more. And if you're a knife person and you can't sharpen a knife, well, you're in big trouble as far as I'm concerned. So easy to sharpen, 440C steel, which is good enough for an EDC knife. Do you know what I mean? I've got better steels, but this will do for EDC, and it's light. So, thank you very much for listening. I hope that wasn't too painful. Can I just do one more thing before I go? I want to give a big shout out to the Fatman. The Fatman gave me a shout out on his channel a couple of weeks ago, and he doubled my numbers in one night. And I just want to tell him that I was very grateful and thank him very much. For those who are my subscribers that don't know about the Fatman, would you go over to his channel? It's called the Fatman. He is a lovely man, very generous, as you'll see in some of his videos, but he's also funny, and he has the best pocket dumps you'll ever see. So thank you very much, folks. That's me finished. Take care, and I hope you enjoy these knives, especially this one. Okay, take care. Night night. All the best.